Hey everybody, welcome to Dialogue Choices Podcast. There's no punctuation in that sentence. Goodbye. Or there's no spaces in that
This
sentence.
isn't. You're not Yak.
Yachity. You're not Yachity Krishiv.
No, you're not him. No, yeah. Can't
You're
do
not
zero
Yachity
punctuation here.
Cashew of
He's actually he's
of
slowed
no
down a lot.
space bar fame.
I don't watch him anymore, but like whenever I catch,
I've watched
glimpse of his
every
stuff.
Zero Escape. What? Zero punctuation for the last decade.
So
What?
if
Have
you
you
go back
really?
to the old ones?
Yes.
If you
I
go
remember
back
when
to the
he
old ones,
He used
he
to
was
start
really
every
committed
episode.
to the bit.
He used to start every episode with like copyright music, and then I was like sad that the expression went away and it just became just the fucking like same generic intro
it's
that's too loud
cool.
every episode, and he's had
I
that
like
same
it.
he's had that same theme song for like
6,
almost
7
as long
years?
as I've been using Undertale Ruins for credits. People freak out sometimes when they get to that part of the game and the
It's
song
so
hits them.
jarring. It's so jarring because it's like, and I mean, even detached from the fact that it's your specific outro music. So what are you doing, game? But
What are you doing, game?
it doesn't fit very. I think. I mean, it's a nice piece, but it doesn't fit very well as a soundtrack. It's just so in your face. It feels like you're in a cutscene.
I love that song. It's such a nice little thing.
It's good. It's good.
I should probably like get a professionally done like different thing at some point. That'd be the smart thing to do. But one, I don't like working with random new people, which is what that invariably involves. And two, how the fuck do you commission music? I don't know.
That's easy.
I have no idea how to say what I want or anything like that.
You
I hate the entire
to
process.
things. You point to things and say, "Hey, I like this stuff," and then the musician or the band. Usually, I mean, if it's a producer, but usually this sort of stuff is done by producers.
I was thinking
who
about
are
for like
just-
the entire run of like I think like Best Friends Play or whatever. They always used like just various covers of a song that is just a Kirby song. It's I was
nice.
like, it's like, hang on a minute, you got covers of it, but it's still just the original. It's still not your song. Like
Yeah,
Glass
that
Houses and all
Yeah, but
that.
a cover.
that I'm like
I
confused.
think a cover is okay though, right? I think a cover gets away from legal issues.
It does specifically if you're not trying to sell the cover. If you're using it as a sort of,
I mean, if your
like,
only
the
goal is to
video
not
isn't
get
about the
copyright
cover.
detected out by YouTube's bots, then yes, a cover is helpful. This is all like legally gray stuff to begin with anyway, but like it's like
get
who knows?
legal up in here. He knows this stuff.
But I just
or
every
the
now and
other
then I
one.
think about like if for some reason instances of the song Ruins from Undertale start getting claimed, it's not great for me.
That's true.
I'll be getting 3 million emails in one day.
You
Just
don't
wait
have that
until,
many.
Just wait until Toby sells the Undertale franchise.
So it
for,
sells-
like $1 billion.
Toby sells
Yep.
Undertale to Microsoft, and Microsoft claims every instance of its soundtrack across the entire internet.
The good thing is
luck.
because it's not like it's just an outro, so you can ask YouTube to edit out the sound of
And there'll just
the
be
outro. So
Just thousands of videos with cursed, garbled outros that make a
no, you
weird
can just
noise
mute.
removed
You
sound.
can mute.
And
Yeah,
then
that weird noise.
I also
removal
probably
only-
have to do
only
them all
happens-
individually, knowing YouTube.
That's true. Yeah, they don't have
Which
the
is
tools for
Cursed
anything.
across like 10,000 videos that probably have that.
No, I'm pretty sure you can do mass music removal now.
Oh, nice. I hope so. I mean, I don't fear Outer Wilds.
It's
claiming
basically
their ending
you go
song.
to the copyright section and then it will have like these are the things that fucking whatever, like yeah, these are like what people have requested to be removed or whatever, and then you can click on it and just like blah 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 add multiple or like
So
change
you
that.
never, so you've never actually had people comment about, "Hey, your outro music is from an Undertale." You have people commenting about,
sure
"Hey, I
people
played
have.
Undertale and your outro music shows up."
I mean, they don't think that's not what they think. It's just they get jump scared by it showing up in any other context because it's so heavily associated with this. It's like how when one person overuses like a public domain song and it becomes part of the identity of their channel, and then anyone else uses it just incidentally, and then that just makes everyone think about that other channel instead, even though that's not their song either.
Yeah.
Or like how I had Mischief Makers on my fucking editing timeline of being like, I'm gonna use Mischief Makers music in this video essay. And then fucking H Bomber Guy used it like fucking crazy in that Tommy Tallarico video. So I'm like, well, there goes that. Now they're just gonna think I'm copying H Bomber Guy if I use Mischief Makers music. Didn't realize
That's
that this
fine.
would be a thing that'd be competition for. Anyone else would remember fucking Mischief Makers?
It's fine. You can copy. You say the delicious egg thing. Nobody gets it.
I mean, that's just fun.
That's fun. Yeah, that's really fun. I don't know where.
I already ripped
Like, it
people
feels
off
on the
enough
original video-
because that's just what it's like to have any kind of in joke or just this is what references are. People just like have a thing they like that they thought was funny, so sometimes they say it in other stuff, and so that's just what happens all the time. But scripting it is different. Script.
Yeah,
like,
that's fair.
That's just very deliberately taking somebody else's joke as opposed to me just saying gender at random during Let's Plays because gender happens
Also
at me.
referenced.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
I'm
Yeah, I love when
poisoned.
that happens.
I'm poisoned
I'm just
inside.
gendered all
Yep.
the time.
You can see a real with me and Andrew from back in the day. So you can see a real like trend towards like JonTron references that's suspiciously cut off on a certain year. And I wonder what happened.
Well, he stopped being funny, which was really the
Yeah.
big problem.
And that's all that happened with JonTron.
That's pretty much all that happened. I mean, I still watch JonTron videos to this day, but like nothing in them is ever funny.
There really hasn't been a good one for
It,
like 8 years.
yeah, I feel bad because it's like I know he has it in him. The problem is that he's
Does
just
he anymore?
he does.
Sometimes
I know
you
he
just
can
get
still
old
do
and
it.
sad.
There's like
You just
no
age.
man. There's I can see it. There's times where like I'll be watching an episode and I'm like, oh my god. He set it up. He set up a good joke. Let's go. And then he just doesn't follow through with it, which means that like there must have been a sit down where they're just like he must have filmed it and did it all and followed through the joke and then just cut it. Just said like, no, actually it's not very funny and cut it. Like I think he just doesn't have a sense of humor anymore. I think he like had it and then all the internet stuff happened and now he's just a decrepitly bitter, sad man. And he doesn't want to be funny
I think
anymore.
about people that go through big internet controversies and how it might just end them as like somebody who can like think about their process or do anything. Because like this is not related exactly, but like, you know, like I have the surprise explosion of the essay stuff, and then I'm like, now it's like high pressure. It's like not as easy just to like write a 1 hour thing and just go, because I'm like in my head about it all and all that. And so I think about like these people that like was it JonTron was openly racist online, like there's no excuses for it at all, but like I'm just trying to imagine the human being then be like, okay, time to go back to my YouTube channel and like like try to like reset and be a funny man, or like what is it,
and he did like multiple redos. Like he would like restart, do a couple of videos, and then just go away for like 2 years, and then you come back, try again, and then just go away. Like he clearly was stumbling to get back into it, and I get it. Like, yeah, I imagine being like a huge internet funny man and then being racist on that internet and then trying to go back to being an internet funny man is not the cleanest method to maintain your career.
And then like on the other side of that collaboration from Once Upon a Time, you have like Aaron Hansen, Ego Raptor from Game Grumps, and you have like you have a long series of interpersonal pieces of drama with other YouTubers. You have multiple subreddits dedicated to stalking and harassing you and talking shit about you all the time. Like not just like, oh, some people on Reddit talk about you sometimes, but like there's literally like Conspiracy Grumps and Rant Grumps. Like Rant Grumps is dedicated entirely to just venting about how infuriating and stupid they think this one specific human being is, basically. And Conspiracy Grumps is about digging into the personal details of him and everyone around him in order to, like, originally was to solve the mystery of what happened with JonTron or whatever Once Upon a Time.
I remember that.
Yeah, because originally people thought that they're like there must have been some kind of fight or something must have gone wrong, and funnily enough, like the after years, there was that part where Aaron Hansen showed up in Starcade, and so it was like, oh wow, either they buried the hatchet or really they were always friends, and JonTron really did just move across the country, and there really was never a problem. They just weren't going to be local anymore, so they stopped doing the show. But then like 2 months later, he came out with all the super racist shit, and you're like, oh, maybe it was this. But then like because of the subreddits, I always think about like there's the this is where it's always important to think about like the homeless Gangnam Style video by Sarah Zed, or this video will infuriate you by CGP Grey, which is like some of the best videos on YouTube for trying to just express this idea of like when you have this insular community that's just motivated by getting points and like competing to make the most thing that would be effective for that community, it just incentivizes lying and misrepresenting things. And so when you have this Reddit that's entirely when you have a subreddit that's entirely about hating somebody for being trash or annoying or unfunny or bad at video games or whatever the fuck they're mad at that given day, and you have another subreddit dedicated entirely to these people have to be up to something. There's something up with these people. They're keeping something a secret. There must be something deeper to this piece of drama or that piece of drama. Like, they just will start making stuff up, and they repeatedly have, and they've even managed to make like things like accusations go viral in the past of stuff they basically made up.
Well, that's I mean that's a lot of like a huge chunk of stuff, especially like the 4chan kind of community, and I like Kiwi Farms is the same way. All these like shitty, weird, I don't know what you like, internet stalking kind of shit, where the idea is that it's a culmination of people coming together to just perform a really awful task.
Yeah,
to,
but I'm just saying that like from the
but-
perspective of somebody like Aaron Hansen, like that's like you then have to go back and do your show again every day, and it's like.
Yeah,
And it's also like not even one where you can like okay, I have good days and bad days, but on the good days I write this stuff and like I'll make some kind of progress. It's like you have to live perform and like pretend to be in a good mood and play funny video games with your friend when like you could be going through some shit all the time because of these fucking weirdos that are obsessed with making your life hell, because they won't just like do the normal healthy thing when they don't like a YouTuber, which is watch someone else. They instead make it their whole personality to obsess over somebody that they don't like forever. When like there are so many infinite popular YouTubers that like I find out about another person with 1 million subscribers I've never heard of like every week. Like so there's not not a dearth of options.
You owe them the content that they subscribed for, and they are not getting that content. So now you are a bad person.
And then of course you had Lindsay Ellis that got like canceled on Twitter for increasingly nonsensical reasons because they're just harassment campaigns for the most part, or like the tiniest nugget of like good faith criticism surrounded by like thousands of people doing harassment over a thing that ultimately, even when you look at its starting point, was ultimately not a thing that justified even being much of a conversation to begin with. But like it
that's
builds
also
up,
the way Twitter works. It's just like it
builds up to such a big
of...
thing that like boom, one of the most long-term influential YouTubers is just gone, and so she just disappears because she can't write anymore. And then I think only recently, basically begrudgingly, to be like, okay, I have employees that are beholding to me and I don't want to fuck all of them over, she like started making Nebula videos, and I genuinely sincerely wonder how much she even works on those videos versus it being a thing she voices and is powered by her brand. But for all I know, her staff writes and edits and she just like shows up to record just to keep them employed. But like
that's definitely
YouTube's
like
nuts.
the
like, I absolutely see
yeah.
why like Jenna Marbles and other people like that have just fucking quit after this or that happened, because like you don't want to face these people again at some point. Sometimes if things go bad,
I think also
and the community turns on you, it's a nightmare.
I think there's also a level of I don't think that there's a forever sustainability here. Usually what happens for most people in most fields, right? Even actors or like politicians. The idea is once you reach a certain threshold, once enough people know about you, then you expand out to other various areas of income. You write books, you make like you star in movies or shows. You want to diversify rather than just be the YouTuber. And usually controversy is such a good time to do that. Like, well, everyone hates me. I guess I'm just going to go focus on some other project. Once it all dies down, then I'll just, I've done a thing. And then you can, like divert, you can move away from a different location. But some people obviously don't have that luxury. You're not, I don't know, you're not like Markiplier. You can't just like, I'm going to go direct a fucking movie right now. It's like, well, oh, okay. Like you just abandoned YouTube for months to go do a project on the side. And now that's fine. He'll be okay for doing that. But there are other people that just don't have that option. And some people that just prefer to say, you know what? Like, I know Lindsay Ellis was writing books. She like just went off and wrote books while all controversy was happening. Like, okay, that's fine. Like, there you go. Look, you're doing something else. You're still creating. You're just not doing the exact same, I don't know, creative outlet. And I think Jenna Marbles is that way too. I think she still makes stuff, but she just doesn't do YouTube videos anymore. There's just like this, at some point you could just go like, nah, I'm done with this medium. I'm done creating these types of things. And you just move on to something else.
Yeah, it's the unexpected outcome of like people. When you get this kind of job, people inherently are like, when are you going to get a real job? Or like, what's your plan for after? Like this idea, like it's inherently a very temporary thing that'll definitely be gone in 2 years or something. Whenever and then you're still here for 8 years. But the unexpected conversation that those people aren't ready to even introduce because they don't have context for it is the idea that like actually the real concern is what do you do when like what if this job just becomes miserable? You literally can't create in that context anymore, because that definitely just happens to a lot of people.
Yeah, burnout is very natural and probably the like kind of the side effect of doing one particular thing forever. Like it just must be like aggravating. I get burnt out from doing a job, and my job is literally just nothing. Like I don't really do much all day, and I still get burnt out from it. Like it's just it's like if something isn't doing it for you, right? It's like, again, creative fields especially, like you need to be constantly engaged, constantly stimulated, constantly motivated. And if that's not there, then you can't make the thing. But if you can't make the thing, you die because you have no employment. Like it's a lot of, I don't know, it's just not the best way to do anything. I don't know. I'm very much of the idea that like
abolish capitalism.
You don't get any value, like you don't get good quality out of threats. Like I'm not, the threat of me not having a job isn't going to make me work harder. It's just going to make me find a way to work less but still cash in money. Like fuck you then. Like I don't need to put my effort in if you're just going to threaten me. I'll just do the bare minimum. And
it's called silent quitting.
It's not. It's not called silent quitting. You can't make up fucking words. It's just called laziness. I don't want to.
No, it's a phenomenon. Like, it's a phenomenon.
It's not a phenomenon. It's not. How do you silent quit? You either quit or you don't quit. You can't silently quit. No. It's like I haven't silently quitted.
It's when people like, yeah. I mean, this is.
It was so funny to me just because simultaneously, Andrew's refusing to engage with a term that has been floating around a lot that he's just never encountered probably. Yeah. But also just the thing he just said didn't make any sense. Of course you can silently quit, even if you take the words literally. It's when you just don't come back.
Well, yeah. So sorry, you can. You can definitely just walk away.
If you don't put in 2 weeks, that's a pretty silent quit.
I am not silently quitting. I am not sitting here silently quitting my job. What I am doing is exactly what they pay me to do, but I'm doing it with the barest minimum of effort, which is not silent quitting. How is fucking silently quitting? I'm doing my job efficiently. I am doing my job so efficiently. I don't need to fucking take part in it. What is silently quitting? What? Because I'm not killing myself on the fucking floor in the office? Like I'm not splitting my fucking wrist, dying for capitalism? Like what the fuck?
The filibuster.
Jesus.
There's a filibuster? Wait, what?
What's when we're trying to explain it, but Andrew's going.
Oh,
no,
right.
I'm so confused by what this means. What
That's
is this?
what we're
understand.
trying to say.
I understand your frustration with the definition of the term, but the term does
Sometimes
encompass.
words are weird, like global warming
They
when
are,
things do
yeah.
get colder.
That sounds
Okay.
like bad naming. You
Cool.
It's
that
bad
sounds
naming
we
because
incorrect.
name
the
everything
corporations-
badly.
It's bad naming because the
Everything.
corporations wanted to. Wait, which one? Yes,
Everything
that
we name
I
everything
am-
so poorly that we take things that once had names like Let's Plays and walkthroughs and start calling all of them streams when everything on the internet is streamed, no matter what. Streaming doesn't mean anything. You can just go,
Well,
everything
at
is
least
stream, you fucker.
at
And
least
you,
they're
can't- you also
at
can't
least
call it
they're
a
not calling-
VOD. A VOD is also everything on the internet that isn't
Everything, yeah.
live. You fuckers.
It's the video on demand.
We had specific terms for things, and you reduce them all to stream and VOD, the most vague terms that encompass all of online video. You fuckers.
At least they're not
Uh,
calling it gameplays because that sends me up
Gameplay
a
is at least more
wall.
specific than stream.
No, gameplay
which doesn't
is
even need to
plural.
be. Oh, that's just that's an Andrew apostrophe disaster. That's a deep cut. That's an old timey joke.
I don't get the specific reference, but I
It's just
appreciate
that.
the rhythm.
Yeah, I mean, you can find this all over Sad Games
Because-
to this day. I'm sure. Just every time that there's a plural word, there's an apostrophe, and every time, and
Mhm.
usually,
Oh, no.
yeah.
Andrew, have you gotten better?
I don't think
No,
think
there's no
most people
point.
have it.
It doesn't. What like what's
I
the
haven't seen
value
this in, your in the recent
What is
videos.
there is no value in an apostrophe. It's just such a
You
fucking
put the
waste of
apostrophe though.
pixels.
That's what Keith is saying.
I'm not bothering. I'm not going to bother learning this thing that doesn't have any implication, impact, or meaning to life. Like it's just a fucking apostrophe. Get over it.
But
It's
anyway,
fine.
It's actually-
anyway,
you know
silent, silent quitting is essentially a form of protest in the way that, in reality, what you're really doing is you're just doing your job, and you show up for work and you do exactly what you were supposed to do, and then you don't do any more work beyond that point. But because of like so much of like American culture and Japanese culture and so on is all about like this constant implication you're supposed to do even more, kind of like how you're not really supposed to take any of your legally mandatory breaks and stuff like that at most of your jobs and stuff like that, or they will suspiciously start cutting your hours and so on. Yeah. It's like there's
That's
we
weird.
have a-
I do
we have
pay
a
my
work- we
my
have a work
legally mandated
culture-
taxes. Can I just
Yeah.
not do that? Is that fine?
We have a work culture that acts like the more you hustle, the better your future is going to be, as if you're not just being vampired by some company that doesn't care about you and does not really care about your upward mobility or your future. And so silent quitting is the idea of actually just doing the bare minimum for your job. And it's got that dumb of a term because that's how off base our entire society is, that the expectation that you should do what you were paid to do and you should be compensated for anything more that you do is so alien that this is like seen as like a mind virus taking over Zoomers and turning them and ruining the economy. And it's just the dumbest topic, really.
Yeah,
Always.
I'm looking at this article, and all I can see is that it's just saying, it's just explaining to me what working is. It's just telling me
what your work.
It's just,
What your work.
it's just
is.
it's all it's literally telling me is like, oh, a person comes into work and does their job. Wait, what is working then? Does
It's the
working not
bare
exist
minimum.
anymore?
It's the literal
no-
definition of your job. Like
What the
not-
fuck did I
not-
get paid for? I get paid to come in and do a set specific task that I have been employed for, and then I go home. That is my job. That is working. I don't
might be that-
expect the president of the
it might
United
be that-
States to come to fucking work and clean my toilets at home. That's not his fucking job. Like, why would it be called silent quitting if he stuck to only doing his job? Is that not what you hired him for? Like,
well,
what?
but you're just being like that. That's not. You're not actually addressing the problem, though. It is a different type of behavior that people do. It doesn't matter what it's called. It is. I mean, what Keith said. It is true. That's what it's called, and it does encompass other types of non.
So who
engagement.
defines? Okay, so how is it
It's
necessary?
language, it doesn't-
But what I'm saying is, when I get employed, I have a contract, right? I am employed. I have a contract with a specific set of like expectations of me as an employee.
Not all
This is my
people.
job,
Most people don't
my
have
role,
that, though.
my responsibility. What do you? No one has role responsibilities. That is fucking
Yeah.
unlikely.
Like
Every
my
job has role
my job
responsibilities.
description. My job description, for example, doesn't I don't have anything at all written about what I do in my daytime job.
So when they hired you, they told you nothing about what they wanted
No,
you
they
to do.
in the sense that what they told me is all things that you're going to be doing stuff like this.
Mhm.
You're going to be working with people like this, right? So once you're in a job, and especially when we're talking about quitting, like you've been there for a while, or at least for long enough that you have that people expect things of you. Like if nobody pushes you to, or at least me, if nobody pushes me to do things, I can just not do them, and nobody will say anything.
Why would
that-
you do them without being asked to by your job?
Because I don't want to. I want to stay employed and continue being.
Why
able to
would
pay
you
my
not
house.
stay employed by doing your job?
Because I'm not competitive inside of the marketplace of working things.
What does that even mean? So like you're telling me that because I'm doing the exact thing that I was hired for several years, and now that someone else has just without in asking me, apparently has decided that I need to be doing more things but isn't telling me to do them,
That is what
I am now
happens,
silently
though.
quitting. But how am I proactively quietly quitting if I am not being told the new fucking expectations for my job? I can't be responsible for something that I don't know exists. And if you don't tell me
But
there's
that's
new
what people.
expectations,
Yeah, of course you can.
then that no, I can't. That's literally how language works. I can't be held responsible. Like
if you have
I am not-
responsibilities. Oh no, sorry, I misunderstood what you said. You're saying being responsible for things you don't know. That's not what
Yeah.
silent quitting is. It's being responsible. It's if nobody else knows, you're not responsible for it. Right?
It says
that
quietly
so-
quitting refers to doing the minimum requirements of one's job and putting in
Yep.
no more time, effort, or enthusiasm than absolutely necessary.
There it is.
Unless
You're
I'm
saying-
asked to, I'm not going to. You need to tell me to do
But that's not-
something. Otherwise, I won't do it because that's not my fucking job. My job is
Imagine
to
you're-
perform a set amount of
imagine
tasks
you're a
for
leader-
money.
No, that's not true for the vast majority of people.
What?
Because if you're responsible for things that you are like, it's your job to do that. Like
Mhm.
if it is like cleaning the aisles, if it is
Yes.
managing a team, if it is leading the design phase of a game, whatever it is, there's proactiveness required of your job, right? It doesn't matter
Okay.
because nobody's going to tell you, hey, there's aisle 3 is like somebody. I mean, in good places they will actually tell you that because they have their systems. But if it's a small shop, right, you're just the clerk and it's like aisle 3 now there's a spill. You're going to be the person to clean that up because it's your responsibility, right?
Yeah.
And nobody has to tell you specifically to do that.
Well, and only if I've been told specifically to patrol the aisles to make sure there's no spills. But if I have not been explicitly told that, I'm not going to fucking walk around the store like some degenerate weirdo
But
lost
that's
in
why-
a fucking supermarket with a broom waiting for someone to fucking drop shit.
That's
that
why
looks
it's called
weird.
silent quitting. It's called silent quitting because that sort of attitude gets you fired eventually.
Just tell me. Come up and say, Andrew, I want
But
you to walk around the
that's why
aisles.
it's quitting because
spill.
you eventually do get fired because like what you're saying, like if you
Quitting,
were
though, that's
wait.
quiet firing. That's someone else's fucking problem.
I got quiet fired from Best Buy.
Yeah, that's
At
keeping
Best Buy, I
quiet.
did
Right,
what
he's
they
quitting.
told me to do, and
Yeah, if,
they
like,
clearly
imagine
kept
Andrew
reducing
being-
my hours until I was eventually getting 4.5 hours once every other week. I was very quiet fired. That was functionally like
Yeah.
not working there. Every time I came into the
Quiet
store to work
quitting-
again, the entire store would have been moved around again, and I had to learn where everything was again.
Quiet quitting implies is specifically that me, the employee, is to blame for the attitude or blame for the lack of enthusiasm, which it is not. I am doing exactly what I've been told to. It is in fact managers' problems for being so fucking shit at their job that they cannot tell their employees what is exactly expected and required of them so that they will perform that task. I have
It
no
doesn't work
obligation
like
to
that.
go out of my how. Yeah, it does.
Most jobs you can't be told all of the details. You're told things in general, and then you figure it out.
That's fine. You
That's
can
not
tell
that.
me
But when you silent
generality,
quit,
but
there's no
there's a
more
difference
figuring it out.
between-
There's it's just no.
What?
Nobody told me to
No,
clean that. That's
From
it.
what it says it puts in no more time, effort, or enthusiasm than absolutely necessary, which means I'm doing my job exactly as expected of me, but I am not doing anything above
as
my
expected.
station. I'm not doing anything that is exceeding my role responsibilities, which I'm not going to fucking do
That's
unless
not
you
silent
pay me
quitting.
to do it. Or you
If you're behaving as expected, you're not silent quitting.
what? That's
You're just
what
sort of
it
doing your
says.
job.
It says putting
It isn't
in no more
though.
time, effort, or enthusiasm than absolutely necessary. I'm doing
Absolutely
my
necessary
job.
implies that it is not expected that you do that.
What?
You said the word and you went past
Usually
it.
we
but you
have to
need go
get
back
2.5 hours in before we get to the half-an-hour semantic discussion
I-
of this podcast.
No, Andrew is not. I'm stuck on that word because you said specifically you're doing your job as expected. No, you're not. You're not doing that.
Am I not? I
No,
literally
you're not.
have for me. So
No,
for
you're not.
me, I literally have a fucking sheet that tells me exactly what I'm supposed to do. My job down to the fucking letter. And that is exactly what I do. I don't do anything else. I don't go above and beyond. I don't exceed those role responsibilities. I do fucking exactly on that paper because guess what? That's what you told me my job is. And if you want me to do anything outside of that paper, guess what? You need to tell me what I need to do outside of that role because I'm not going to go out of my way.
Andrew.
I'm not going to do other things because guess what? I could also just get fired for going out of my fucking zone. Because that's also a risk. So no, fuck you. I'm not gonna go and do more effort if I can be at risk of getting fired. But doing minimum effort gets me fired for fucking quietly quitting. What
Andrew,
is this? You can't.
What I'm trying to say is that most jobs are not like that. In fact, people who work in tech, there's like this thing. I kind of thought of mentioning it before, but there's this thing called overemployment for specifically tech people. In work from home has allowed this to be a thing where you basically work for 2 companies or 3. Because like a tech person, depending on the job, but a lot of tech people just work like 2 or 3 hours a day, and that's it. And they are paid for a full-time thing. So you have enough time in a day to jiggle 2 full-time jobs if you want, and especially because
really
people in
unhealthy.
tech are.
It's much.
It is. I mean, sure.
Better to just take a nap and play video games or something. Like, what are you fucking doing with your life?
100%. But it is a thing, overemployment in the tech sector, where like even if it is written in the contract that you cannot have another daytime job, people just do it on the sly, and it's just like get paid fat cash because it's tech.
They're quiet double working.
That might be
new terms. We're gonna be so scary now
with all the layoffs. The thing, like, it's
quiet employment
that it's fraud. It's bullshit.
Anymore. We can't let people be employed. Get them out of here.
It's bullshit that it's fraud, but it is fraud, legally speaking.
How is it fraud? What do you mean it's fraud?
Because your contract specifies that you can't have another daytime job.
Is that legally binding?
Prioritize employers over employees, basically.
Especially in the United States,
I mean, is there a precedent to say that is illegal?
The term is overemployment, and I haven't looked it up in specific, but I've seen.
Okay. I was gonna say it doesn't matter what a contract says. A contract doesn't mean anything. It's up to the courts to decide whether a contract exists.
Yeah, it's the laws.
So like, if someone says like you can't have 2 jobs, okay, fight me, bitch. I'll go to fucking court. We'll see if a judge says I can have 2 jobs. Like you don't get to decide that. I get to decide.
If you're in Europe, you might be able to decide that, but in the US, where this is specifically a thing.
I'm in California, so I definitely can win that argument. I'm not in some crappy place that has bad worker protections.
I wouldn't know. You know better.
We're not big fans of workers' rights here.
No, you even moved the 1st of May. You moved it to like the 31st of August or whatever, just to make your workers not celebrate the day of work of the worker alongside the rest of the world, basically. Not world, but a lot of countries. It's wild that to me. There's like it's down to the minutia of pettiness. It's incredible.
50% of the United States workforce is quietly quitting. I'm gonna fucking kill somebody. What do you mean?
Andrew just figured out he's quietly quitting for years.
Half of the United States is quietly quitting. Well, then they're not fucking employed, I guess. Like what? What do you mean?
You're still employed. That's why it's quietly quitting.
What is quitting? What is the word?
No,
quitting
no, that's a different word. That's a different
I
word.
can't
You
do
can't
this
just-
anymore.
Yeah, okay, let's move on. Let's cancel Keith.
So
Let's
dumb,
go.
dude.
I can't do this anymore.
We have a subject
I'm
where
sorry,
Keith gets canceled.
This is just
You're-
like this is what
You're
happens
both
when you
yelling
let
about a thing that as far as I can tell, you're both in favor of. So you're just yelling about the words in
No.
the conversation, basically.
And then
I-
he's bringing
yeah,
up a
that's
different
what I've been
word. He's saying quitting.
what I've
I'm not
been
saying
at the
quitting. I'm
entire
saying
time.
silent quitting.
my whole thing is that it's not. I am not quietly quitting. I am just employed. I am just doing a job.
Buddy,
I am not
you're in the
quietly
tech
we
section, man.
can't,
It's
we
different.
can't do
It's
this
different.
again.